What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Happy Tuesday night in the Pacific. I don't know if it's Wednesday or Thursday with you, but happy day to you. I got a little bit of a breaking news story because I don't know if you guys remember that last Sunday night, there was a space where Representative Eric Burlison spoke to a bunch of people within the UFO Twitter community. This space was hosted by Tupacabra and Red Panda, Koala and Missile Man. And he dropped a lot of bombs. He spoke about many things, but one of the things he talked about was about a report that both Mr. Craig Oliver and I did on our respective channels. He did it on his Medium account, which is called Escape Velocity, and I did it on my YouTube channel. And this was just a statement from who I called back then the Civilian Axelrod. Just I thought it was a fun kind of nickname, but now Craig revealed that this guy's name is Michael or Mike. And Representative Burlison corroborated the story. He said that Mike does exist, and he spoke about a video and some photos that he saw and about a little issue that he considered was hindering the chances of getting anything like corroborated in any way. The thing is, there's been a lot of people talking about this topic, and there was someone even before both Craig and I was not aware until after I released my information about Mike that the folks at Disclosure Tonight, Mike Disclosure and Thomas Fessler, were the ones who initially came out with Mike's story in their show on July 7th. So I'm going to leave a link in the description to that, and credit where credit is due. Mike reached out to me through lawyer Ivan Hanel, who initially I said no because it was kind of a weird story. This guy is not that public. He's anonymous, and the story was kind of convoluted. But then I started talking to him. He showed me images of text messages and photos of senators and emails from different senators and other Congress staffers and all that. And I realized that he was likely telling some truth. But then when Burlison confirmed it, that confirmed to me that this guy was talking to people within the Senate and within Congress. And he saw my channel and he reached out to me through Ivan. And just a little parenthesis, over the last week or so, Ivan, if you guys don't know, he's Lou Elizondo's lawyer, and he got into a really horrible internet spat, not just with Congresswoman Luna, who after her episode with Joe Rogan, she threatened to subpoena Lou Elizondo and others, and Ivan is his lawyer, so he started trying to protect his client, but things got a little bit too heated, and then Ivan got into spats with people on the internet, and it got bad. I completely disapprove that behavior because I don't think that fighting people and making it even worse, because if you guys don't know, Lou Elizondo has made a few mistakes over the last year or so, or a little more, and people no longer trust him the way they did. That's the reality of it. I've told Ivan that I don't trust Lou. And it's really unfortunate that that is going on at the same time that Ivan also had this client. He's been talking to Mike for a couple of years, at least, I think. And this is really unfortunate because I think that situations like this one from Ivan do affect the case. So I would strongly recommend Ivan to take care of whatever he is going to do with Lou Elizondo and that problem with Luna. And this case is a different one. So I think it would be better if he just like took care of whatever he's trying to do with Lou. That's my opinion. And I already told him a number of times over months that I don't trust Elizondo. I do appreciate the way he brought attention to the topic in a more mainstream manner. I will always appreciate that from him. He's one of the first people that did that. But the recent year or a little more hasn't been encouraging from Lou. And that's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. A lot of people may agree with me, but I do tell Ivan this, and Ivan knows how I feel. Regardless, obviously, considering this development, there's a lot of gossip and speculation about Lou and Ivan's relationship with the whole disclosure movement. I'm not getting into that, honestly. I'm just giving you guys a little context. I know that Mike felt it was really unfortunate what happened with Ivan, and all the speculation also that has been going out about him compelled him to give me a statement. And this statement is going to be difficult to read. It gives me more confidence to read myself because Representative Burlison already confirmed. And I'm just going to remind you guys the way in which he confirmed that this Mike civilian UFO witness is real. Just going to remind you a little bit in this space from Tupacabra from last Sunday night. Shout out to Tupa for a great space. It lasted over 3 hours. Okay, so something that I want to point out though that I found it really funny. Everybody in this list, there's a lot of people that don't get along. They really don't like each other, and I just want to applaud all of you guys for getting along when Representative Burlison is in the room. That shows that you guys may be adults after all. So, yay! This was obviously speaking ironically, but a little seriously too, because it is real. A lot of people that are constantly on UFO Twitter spaces don't get along. And it's really discouraging because I think Twitter spaces like this, like what happened here, are worth listening to and are like newsworthy, and they do make an impact. And I just wish that everybody like behaved like an adult more constantly because it doesn't really happen. And I know there are spaces that are really funny, that I really like them because it's like a Tarantino movie. It's like people are like talking shit to each other, but in like a fun manner, you know? And I found those funny because I did watch a lot of Tarantino movies. But there are others where the majority of them, they're just like people fighting all the time, really nasty stuff. And I wish that ended at some point. It would be really cool. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out before we show and remind you what Burleson said about Mike in this Twitter space.
Yeah, hi, Representative Burleson. Yeah, thanks again for doing this. So I had kind of two big things fall in my lap last Monday. One of them directly involving you, and this was the civilian whistleblower who apparently has been in skiffs, and he's known anonymously as Michael, but had a close-up encounter that he filmed on 4K video in I think in Wichita, Kansas, around 20 years ago. And apparently he was speaking to you as my buddy Paul and I were working with Ivan Hanel on getting his statement out about why he doesn't want to come forward any longer. So I was wondering if you could comment on that.
That is that's an interesting individual, and I'm hoping to keep that relationship going and try to get more information. Right now, he seems very guarded, but yeah, I don't. Right now, I think that the problem is he's looking for. The problem is it's complicated things. The fact that he owns a private business and he's seeking a government contract, and he just kind of complicates the whole scenario. So the fact that he's not an existing contractor who's then bringing forward information, it makes it look like he's trying to use it to get contracts. But at the end of the day, I think that I'm not skeptical in that regard. I'm just telling you what I'm having to deal with. I think that he is I think that he's a patriot. I think that he's someone who wants to protect the interests of the United States. He's been able to get these videos and photos I've only seen one photo and one video. And I will say that whenever I have talked about those photos and shown them to people that were in the know about highly classified um, um, U.S. military um, aircraft, the response was jaw dropping. People are shocked that someone who is an amateur or is not exactly an established contractor was able to gather these photos and videos. So I'm still trying to figure out what the origin is and figure out how I can work with him and help him. And so that I'm trying to be as transparent as possible without revealing who he is and revealing too much about what he has.
Okay, so I didn't understand what Burlison said the first time I heard this. Now I do a little more because Michael has given me another statement and he explained this further. And if you guys noticed the part where Burleson says that he speaks to other specialists who know about this military aircraft and they're surprised, that implies that these people are surprised that Michael was able to get pictures and videos of really advanced American, possibly technology. And this is, I think, what possibly we might be dealing with. So in that vein, I do have to be extra careful. And I went through the statement, and I do have to mention a couple of things. One of them is first that there are some places where he mentions names that I'm not going to mention. All I'm going to do is limit myself to say these are SSCI senators or personnel. That's all I'm going to limit myself to say, because some things that he mentioned there could potentially be classified. So I'm not going to mention them at all because I don't know exactly whether it's classified or not. It seems sensitive, so I'm just not going to touch it. I'm going to be peripheral a little bit. I apologize, but I do have direct contact with this man, and Eric Burlison, no less, is the one who confirmed that this guy is real. And he's just going to tell us what's going on. He's going to be a little more clear about what videos he has, which videos he hasn't, what's this system that he has. And you guys are going to understand why he doesn't want to go public. And I just want to thank him for first. I want to thank Representative Eric Burlison for corroborating the story that I put out. And I guess this is a message partly to him, because there was something in that response from Burlison that also doesn't make sense, because this guy is telling me that he has messaged Burlison a number of times now, and Burlison is like avoiding to respond seemingly. And Burlison said that this guy was guarded. So what does that mean? I would like to know from both of them. And just to make it clear, the only thing that I can corroborate now is that Burlison confirmed that this guy exists and that he has been meeting with these SSCI people and Congress people to talk about this. Other than that, there's a lot of claims here that I'm just relaying them as a statement from him, because I think it's newsworthy and I think people should know about this. And just so you know, this apparently does have to do also with technology. And we don't know what type of technology. This man is completely sold on the idea that this is just human-made tech. There's a debate there. You're going to see that he's going to like distance himself from the whole NHI UAP debate. But that does not mean that if the US government has some kind of world-changing technology, that doesn't give them or any country the right to hide it and to weaponize it. And there are a couple of times in this statement where I'm also going to semi-omit, because it promotes war and conflict. And I do not condone any type of conflict or war. That should stop. And I get that people with a more military or nationalistic mindset are going to always support that type of rhetoric, but I don't. And even though some people are going to tell me to be realistic, I still don't support war or conflict. And that's how I was raised. So I told you what I'm going to omit probably. And so let's start with the statement from the Civilian Axelrod. Now we know his name is Mike. Another thing before I start, Mike did give me a voice message sample so I could clone his voice. But now that Burlison already came out and accepted that this guy exists, I feel more comfortable just reading the statement myself and omit the parts that I'm going to omit. So here goes. Pavel, I seen the podcast you did in which you allude to possibly having me on to speak. I wanted to answer to that as well as clear a few things up as the rumor mill is already running wild on my own story. Things I never said are being claimed, and people are assuming they know everything from where I live to what years other sightings were. And people are assuming they know everything from where I live to what years other sightings were. I'm doing this so there is less a mess to clean up later on setting the facts straight. That's necessary now because I'm quite busy and can't spend 24/7 monitoring UAPX, UAP Twitter, unless I get called up to testify at the next hearing, which, of course, I've demanded polygraphs be issued as my one condition to do so. If you want to beat someone, you have to do it at their own game. And that means guided by their own rules. The United States government uses polygraph at the top level of security clearance. They also use it as a mandatory step for employment in any intelligence agency. President Trump used it as well as Secretary Pete Hegseth to find folks leaking information. This is their standard. Use it to beat them. With that said, if the same path to no disclosure continues, then I'll be hard to get a hold of for the next month or so. I'm a business, as I've been traveling looking to fund what I have for most of the year now. As a matter of fact, I was on a business and family trip when I managed to make a detour through Springfield to finally meet back up with Congressman Burlison. Earlier attempts to connect had always fallen through. Ask him about this. So I was glad this one worked out. As many already know, he's a good man. After our meeting, I took my kids to Branson to ride the Ferris wheel and later to an old fishing spot of mine in Shell Knob. While we were there sharing stories of my childhood, my kids reminded me that they've already moved about once every 2 years and changed schools multiple times. Not the stable childhood I had hoped for them. That weighed heavily on me for the rest of the trip, especially that night in the hotel when I scrolled past photos of elected officials posting about county fairs, eating deep fried food, and posing with constituents, all while collecting $14,500 a month with zero actual workdays. Meanwhile, I was carrying a weight of verified death threats from foreign adversaries, threats confirmed by OSI, including the possibility of groups using nerve gas on doorknobs of front gates to kill anyone who touched them. At that moment, something became clear. The so-called rich men north of Richmond and myself are not the same. They enjoy their corn on the cob, kissing babies and taking breaks. Meanwhile, the same broken technology that failed to track or stop the drones over Langley Air Force Base is what we're supposed to trust to protect football stadiums, nuclear power plants, Air Force One, Marine One, and the presidential motorcade. I remember SSCI's Get Here SAP request during the Langley drone encounter. The very incident we had already warned them about was happening. After describing this classified info that I'm not going to share, he said, that's what a broken DC system and $1 trillion defense budget buys you. Meanwhile, they waste billions on assets that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars just to flush on a toilet. I've been trying to tell Democrats, Republicans, and MAGA politicians alike that President Trump is a sitting duck, and we can fix that problem. We should fix it, especially now that we are a year past an assassination attempt on his life. And yet, here I am still waiting on a contract with the US government. This feels weird. I'm just going to tell you that, and then I'll give you my thoughts later. To be clear, the work is already done. Defense contracting is complicated, and the quote unquote valley of death is real. As a non traditional defense contractor, all we need is a single signature from Capitol Hill. The military wants it, no surprise, given the fights we've had over the Invention Secrecy Act. We've been told we are at the top of the list of foreign offers for our technology, but we will never sell out. We've also been told that we are the only company on that same list to receive verified death threats. I understand why some people don't agree with what Michael is doing. I completely understand. I don't have a justification for it. Even he told me that if I didn't agree with him, I wouldn't go easy on him, and I'm not going to go easy on him. I do think that this, despite the 20 years in which he has been doing this, if we're dealing with world-changing technology, none of you, not you, not anybody from the government, profit out of it if it is something that can change the world, or that can help. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that the government already has the right, but I don't think they do. This should be for all humanity. So I'm just going to tell you that, Michael. And then we've already been investigated by the military and the IC. Past polygraphs, provided photos, videos, testing results of recovered craft materials, and even a working UAP power source sample in a controlled environment. What the hell? Okay. All of that was serious enough that SSCI sent Tim Phillips to the Nevada test range because they feared other programs might have been compromised. And yet, no deal. Apparently, I need to spell this out for folks. I run a high-tech business. This first time I happened upon a UAP decades ago was by accident. All the time since then have been because we have developed a tracking system. I don't lay in fields or use my mind to call them in or wander around seeing if I bump into another one. That same system that can't be jammed or spoofed has also been used to grab plenty of other high-tech assets, including in stealth mode. Whoa, that's what is being sold to the government here. As the saying goes, win air superiority. And then he says something that I don't agree with, which is win the war. We shouldn't be in a war, just making it clear for everybody. I don't agree with Mike is saying here. This same system can be snuck into a friendly country or even one with complete surveillance, deployed and used undetected to know exactly what is flying in their skies, which is why we are targeting groups such as U.S. Special Operations Command. Nothing is for sale that I have in my possession that has been shown and talked about. That's called my leverage, and that's what keeps me safe at night. Our first proposal was simple. A red team, the same red team that solved the UAP mystery for SSCI, could also address today's urgent threats, including drones. Forget aliens for a moment. Imagine the consequences of a coordinated drone attack on U.S. soil. Meanwhile, SSCI brags about legislation that won't even work. Shooting down a drone is exactly what adversaries want, because when one falls, the others in the swarm will immediately strike military housing, 100 million fighter jets, or civilian targets. That's how you get Keystone Cup's headlines while families and assets are destroyed. I even explained how easy it would be to get a drone into the Hart Senate building to target SSCI members as they leave a skiff, something any adversary could do today. The same risks exist for our service members on the front lines. And yet, instead of signing a paper to prevent disaster, leaders wait for another 9/11 before acting. My company has already invested millions, staffed by people capable of putting objects into orbit and we've delivered results, yet we can't get one signature. Meanwhile, China offers us 1,000 times more than we're asking from the US government and backs those offers with threats verified at the highest levels. Yeah, well, if you're talking about competing offers and all that stuff, I completely understand why this may have rubbed people the wrong way. And I get that you like want to run your business and all that, but everything the government is doing with secret technology that could change the world is a crime to me, honestly. I don't know what else to tell you, Mike. And if this is true, it's shameful, really. And I'm not going easy on you. You knew that I wasn't gonna agree with a lot of what you said here, and I don't, man. And I'm sure a lot of people don't either. But some of you will tell me to be more realistic, probably. But I don't care. I'm sorry. Let's continue. And still, politicians in DC waste time on 90,000 bushings and 10,000 a plate fundraisers. I gave SSCI 2 years of work for free, only to have the rug pulled out and whistleblower protections stripped away after slander from a sitting DOD official. That would be Tim Phillips. Okay, this isn't about one person or one staffer. It's about a system. That's how deep the corruption works. In DC, factions sabotage each other worse than the UAP community ever could. I've seen SSCI dismiss a whistleblower they didn't believe, only for the House to treat the same person as credible despite zero evidence or polygraphs. That's politics, not national security. As for the UAP alien questions, answers won't come from chasing conspiracies about lizard people or FOIA requests from the 1940s. The truth is in the skies, but without funding, there are no answers. I'm done wasting my time on meetings with UAP and HI people. Maybe others enjoy chasing their tails for 90 years, but I don't. All of my current upcoming meetings are with folks both on and off the Hill who share one thing in common. They have no idea what the hell UAP means. And I'm glad to just be talking to people who are technology based and wanting to get the best of the best in war fighters' hands. Another thing that I don't agree with, war. Again, the power of who is on top in the defense world goes through me. And I'm trying to make sure that that ends up as a weapon for the United States. This is another thing that I do not agree with. Sorry, Mike, but man, this is perpetuating war, man. And honestly, I think this is, I was told by Mike that this would be the last statement he gives. I really don't agree with that. If somebody ever gets to talk to him, ask him about this because you got to push about this. This is perpetuating the defense industry business, and that shouldn't be so. I just wanted to say that. Sorry. Lastly, I'll leave folks with a short insert from you, Pavel, and I talking. You mentioned this was world-changing information. And I responded, the world has already changed. You just don't know it yet. Thank the United States government for that. The final part is about the video that Burlison spoke about, because there's a lot of convoluted messes there. And he's clarifying what videos he have, what he did, which videos he can't share. And I'm going to tell you all about it right now. Mike says there was a video recorded on original and many since. Same as the parts and pieces gathered. What Burlison has seen is the third generation, he calls it, which he discussed himself on Tim Pool that way. It was done on assignment by an SSCI senator. Not that exact video that is in the classified folder with our name on it, but from the same trip assignment. The assignment was crystal clear 4K video up close, and we nailed it. We even celebrated about it. I already told you guys what I don't agree with. I understand why Representative Burlison said that it seemed kind of weird that this guy was looking for a contract. Presumably, he developed one of the best, if not the best, tracking system of UAP. He took, apparently and allegedly, a bunch of pictures and videos that are really up close. And the one video that is classified is the one from 2003. So that is going to be problematic, because if the videos are very recent, it's going to be easier to try and debunk with new technology, because today's AI and other tools make videos really, really, really realistic. And that makes it really difficult. So I got to point that out as well. And this is a really long statement that I needed to read to you guys, but I also wanted to give you guys my thoughts. I think this is the last statement that Mike ever makes. I don't know if he's going to talk to anybody from the media anymore. I do know that he may or may not have already recorded something with someone. I have no idea who it is, but I already had that suspicion even before Mike came out with this statement. I suspect the same. So who knows if the full story is ever going to come out. It would be nice to ask Representative Burlison about this. Maybe he can be on the show soon. It would be cool to have him on the show. I do think that he is being taking this very seriously, and he's very careful with his statements. I think we can ask him a few questions that he may answer fully. I'll find a way to ask the questions properly. But yeah, this is the statement from Mike, aka the Civilian Axelrod. And whatever you guys think about this, just remind you, Burlison himself confirmed that this guy is who he says he is. And this happened because he also saw the video that I made. So let's see if he responds. Let's see if he can be on the show. And let me know what you think about everything Mike said. Pretty wild stuff, right? It's a lot to digest. I'll give you guys some time, but I'm going to leave it to you to tell me what you think in the comments. If you like the content you see, I'm going to ask you to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That's all you need to do in order to help us, and it is what helps us the most, so thank you. But if you want to support us in other ways, there's a few links down there you can choose from. You can become a member on YouTube, or can support us through KGRA. Anything you choose to do is always appreciated, so thank you. That's it for me today on this video, but I'll see you guys in the next one. And remember, stay curious and inquisitive, like Representative Eric Burlison and Mike. Always. Bye.